and welcome to Season 2's Wear Many Hats podcast. My name's Rachel. Got a fantastic guest here with us today, Tawanda Majasi, who is the Head of Facilities Management at the stunning Vision Hall, which is an event space in central London, and I'll let him talk more about that. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for the fine introduction as well. I really appreciate that.
No worries.
And I really appreciate your time, taking time to interview me today.
That's lovely. It's our pleasure, believe me. You've got a fantastic story to tell. I've just looked at your LinkedIn as well, and done a little bit of research on you. You've got a great background and, a lot to be said on your history. So I'm gonna kick off with some questions for you, but let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Where did it all start for you? You obviously mentioned that you didn't come from the traditional sort of facilities management route. So tell us how it started for you.
So for me, traditionally, I've always been interested in the aspect of the design process in building. So that led me to take out a degree in architecture.
Right.
But prior to that, I also did a BTEC National Diploma in the Built Environment.
Okay.
And that was an area which really honed my passion for the building process, not only from a design aspect led, but also from the functionality. So looking at the end user, how they're going to be occupying that space and how they impact the environmental aspects. So the BTEC National Diploma that I studied had everything to do with civil engineering, structural mechanics, organisation surveying, and levelling, architectural detailing. And then I wanted to transition that and further develop my skills. And I took out a degree in architecture. I went to University of Luton, now University of Bedfordshire.
Right, yeah.
Where I studied there for 3 years.
Goodness.
And then after coming out of uni, I tried to source jobs in the architectural field, like an architectural drawing office. But I was met with a lot of roadblocks because the application process that I'd gone through, they obviously wanted people who had extensive experience. And that was one of the stumbling blocks that I found.
Yes.
So I kept on searching and I applied to an architectural company called Flamma Royal, which were grateful to give me the opportunity to gain further experience within the architectural realm. So I wasn't doing I was doing things like designing rooms, layouts, doing extensions, and also did small projects as well. So we did one of the projects we undertook was an overseas project in Ghana. So we were looking at temporary sheltered accommodation, where it was an area where the community had lost a lot of their houses. So we're looking for a sustainable approach to where we could get some housing containers refurbed and installed in those areas. And because it was an overseas project, we had to look for funding because we didn't get any governmental funding. So we looked at different sponsorship options. And that was one of the pivotal moments that made me truly understand that it's not just about the design of a building or how it's used. It's also about, the sustainable, factors that go into a long term. Why are we actually doing this? And it serves a bigger purpose. So gaining that experience in there, I understood that it's more of a understanding of having the functionality being safe, efficient, and truly functional.
Yeah.
Once they're built, or even being built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, that's an amazing story there. And obviously, did you see it complete? Did you go back, or how were you there? Were you out there? What? I mean, I really want to talk about that. That's really, that's pretty powerful stuff for your first job.
Yeah. So, no, I didn't actually go over there, but we had correspondence over there and an overseas project team.
Okay. So you got a lot of feedback.
We got a lot of feedback, and it was great feedback. And the project actually took 6 months from conception, trying to gain different sponsorship routes, and then obviously looking at like sustainable options to see where we can get these containers from to refurb, because we're looking at
it's really good.
Because we're looking at to see whether we can get it locally sourced.
Yes.
Using locally sourced land and using locally sourced materials. That is the backbone of good sustainable practice.
Absolutely, we're coming on to that in a bit. But so obviously now you've come through that role, and then where did you sort of go after that?
So,
an architectural company.
I've got to also point out that while I was doing that, I was only employed under voluntary.
Okay, so you just wanted to get a foot in the door.
I tried to get my foot in the door by any means I could, because I knew I wanted to be in this type of field environment, and because my options were quite short. Most of the people I went to uni with, they had uncles or fathers or mothers who were already in the architectural industry already.
So they had a foot in the door.
They had a foot in the door already.
Yeah, does help.
I was working on a voluntary basis, and at the same time, I would supplement my additional time at being a security officer.
Okay.
So I worked as security officer. One of the areas I worked was in Green Park. I was doing a 4-on, 4-off security role, nights, days, and weekends.
Goodness, so you had no spare time, really. You were concentrating on your career.
I was concentrating, and I was heavily driven. There would be, for example, if I do like 4 nights and then have 4 days off, I would spend the 4 days doing the voluntary work.
The voluntary work.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it got to a point where I wanted to also gain, I'm gaining all this experience now, but I want to pursue it further. But that was the background behind it.
That's really interesting, though, because you obviously say you didn't come from a traditional background, but you're still around the whole buildings and structural and architectural side of things. That's really interesting. So really, you kind of knew that the path that you're at now and where you are is kind of led up from that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So what or who gave you that sort of real push in your career, do you think? Is there any one specific person or company or?
Yeah. So I would say for me, it goes back to when I worked for Link Security as a security officer. At the time, I was working as a security officer in a loading bay.
Right.
Near Liverpool Street, just off Bishopsgate.
Yeah. Just down the road.
Just down the road, yeah. At the time, they had an active building site on one of the floors. And my job role was, as a security officer, I would ferry contractors up and down in the goods lift from the loading bay side.
Yeah.
I would clear out rubbish from the floors and then put them down into the compact loading bin.
Yeah.
I never kept loss of my focus and my mindset at the time, even though I was doing that job. I would read, self-help books like Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Is one of my. So basically, in the book, it stipulates that you shouldn't allow your current lifestyle to, predict how you're going to be.
Right. So like manifesting or...
Yeah, manifestation as well.
Okay.
So...
Yeah.
How I got my break is I was ferrying up and down contractors, and one of them gave one day during the trips, one of them made an offhand comment, just push the button to the floor. That's what you're qualified to do. And I remember responding perhaps a little sharply that I might be more qualified than he thought, given my extensive foundation.
Yeah.
I had a BTEC National Diploma in the built environment, a degree in architecture. And at that time, I'd already worked for 2 architectural companies, ADC Architects, which are architectural design and construction. They were based in Valence Road in Whitechapel.
Okay.
And then Flamma Royal. They were based at the time near Swiss Cottage.
Okay.
So I had all that experience behind me. So what happened next was pivotal. After the tradespeople left the lift, one of the site managers who was there took me aside, and he worked for a company called 345 Interiors.
Right.
He overheard what I was saying, and he approached me and asked for my CV. I sent it. Had an interview and ended up getting the job as a project manager and site manager with them. That was a real push. It showed me that my background in architecture and project management was valuable, even in unexpected ways. It propelled me from a security role into a hands-on project management position right there on site. It truly forced me to put my diverse skills into an action.
I love that story.
Immediately.
So he challenged you, and someone overheard.
Yeah.
So that's
and that's where my real push came career-wise to where I am now.
Yeah.
But I would say foundationally also from an educational standpoint, I think I was heavily influenced and heavily put to good place by having that BTEC National Diploma in the built environment. Because I think for students coming up, it's a great opportunity because there's some people who are not aware of where they actually want to be or where they want to go. They know they want to be in the construction or a property field, but they don't really know which avenue would they really want to navigate towards.
So many, isn't there?
Yeah. But understanding it and the application process for all of them. So I, covered things like surveying, structural mechanics. I did CAD work as well.
Wow.
So just from a young age going into it, because I knew I wanted to be in that type of remit.
Yeah.
Those things are really giving me the core to where I am today.
Yeah. That really, that's pretty outstanding that you've taken, really, it's been mapped out for you, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Up until the point where you sort of took that turn and someone challenged you, and then you got a role from that. So let's talk about sort of more today.
Yeah.
What does a day in Tawanda's world actually look like? Just give us an example of what, obviously there's lots going on for you at the moment. Mm-hmm. Tell me what's going on day to day for you.
Yeah, so right now we're at a unique phase of our project, whereas we're having live project taking place at the same time, and we're getting ready, initializing ourselves for our first events in July.
And tell us who you're working for. Tell us come from. So we didn't discuss where you went. Where you are now. What are you doing now? Where are you?
I work for Bottaccio, but our brand name is Town Hall Events.
Yeah.
And we have like 3 distinct spaces that we use to host events. So we can host things from exhibitions to conferencing to like banqueting or...
It's a huge space.
Spacing, yeah. A typical day in my world these days is actually a contradiction in terms, especially as we race towards our first exhibition events. It's truly the definition of wearing many hats, often switching from them every hour. One moment I might be diving into CAD drawings to optimize seating arrangements, spacings, or for client events, or or the next I might be on site navigating active construction zone, perhaps troubleshooting a coordination issue with ceilings, going up over crucial cabling like fiber optic cabling, access control cabling, and CCTV cabling, which I'm really taking an active step in. Because of my experience, previously I worked for the council direct, and now we're working in a building
where you were based,
where I was originally based.
So you know the builders. This is going to be exciting for you, because obviously this is going to be a new project really for you now, isn't it? It's going to be completely different from the council sort of side of things. So did they host events and things there previously, or is this completely new?
Before I started with the council, I'm going back 2017 when I first started with the council. That vision hall, or the town hall side, it was just left vacant. Wow. So no one was doing anything with it. And now we're doing something great, and it's just capitalizing on revenue for us and also our partners as well.
But also you're going to be employing more people, I'm assuming, and
absolutely the job aspect of it, bringing in more people. And so it's a constant juggle between the granular technical details, ensuring essential systems like water, lighting, fire alarm and operational, and high-level strategic planning and smooth launch. So as I mentioned, we're working with within the Camden Town Hall, reimagined with our renowned designer, Tom Dixon.
Nice.
The building spans over 60,000 square feet.
Unreal.
And it includes 3 distinct spaces, which is Vision Hall, which can hold up to 800 people.
Wow.
And then we've got our inner space, which is our more contemporary space, which can hold up to 600 people.
That's a lot of people.
And then we've also got our third space, which is the network, we call it. Right. And it's got 3 distinct spaces all in one.
Right.
So you've got club lounge spacing, conference spacing, to host different events, conferencing, and our clients can use 2 or 3 of the spaces at once. So like they may need to have breakout spaces to have quieter meetings, or they can have like a dinner banqueting space to host different functions.
So this is going to be the biggest event space in London. Is that
absolutely?
Right? I think. And you're head of facilities management for this.
I think this is going to be the flagship for London.
Well, that's an incredible career move for you, isn't it? Just obviously you're at Camden.
Yeah, unimaginable. And I'm so truly honoured and blessed, to be put in this position, especially of trust, because to me, trust is everything.
Yeah, same.
Especially when you give your word and where you're coming from. To be able to give back from the experience I've gained, all the other spaces, all the other job realms that I've done, they've all tied in. So my experience being a health and safety coordinator, I've also was a health and safety coordinator with 345 Interiors as well. So I was really thrust into it from an early young age. And you need to be able to be highly curious about, your job role.
Of course.
It's not just the day-to-day learning on the job or working on the job. It's also what you do outside of the job as well.
Yeah, of course.
So I would take time to read books and site management. So for the younger audience listening, I would say that is one of the good keys that you should do. So not only look for opportunities where you are first, but also study and be highly inquisitive, ask questions when you're on site or in the office. Try to get some sort of like mentorship.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? I think what about challenges? I mean, at the moment, obviously, you've got so much going on. Right. I bet you're seeing quite a few challenges at the moment. Is there anything that you want to?
At the moment, I'm liaising with like external contractors, coordinating with internal teams like sales and operations. And then I have to kind of respond swiftly to unexpected challenges. Like, for example, we've got areas where we're ready to close off ceilings and walls. I need to, although they're working towards the project timeline and the phases of the project, it's also part of my job to ensure that those are actually being done as well.
Yeah, of course. My goodness, we've got to follow that up.
Yeah.
Right, juggling lots of things. Oh, goodness.
Especially as we gear up to our first events in July, it's a lot of the commissioning stuff that needs to be put in place.
My goodness.
So there's challenging aspects of, we get something called O&M's manuals once servicing is done.
Right.
So, for example, O&M's basically means operation and maintenance manuals.
I didn't know what that was.
So operation and maintenance manuals in there has everything to do with what is actually installed, how it was installed, how it's operated, and what you need to do to sustain its long-term use. What's the life cycle of the actual installation, and what you need to do to maintain it as well. So
you are literally wearing more than many hats.
At the moment, we're going through the revised installs for the kitchen assets that are going into these kitchens. So
I'd like that.
Four of them are working kitchens, basement with gas installation, and then on the upper floors, there's just electrical installation. So what I'm trying to do as well is evaluating the asset control list for those assets going in.
Okay.
So, for example, what I mean is I'm looking ahead of time. Right. So, for example, once kitchen assets are installed, they're covered under certain warranty, like from the install date. So, for example, some assets might be a year, or some assets might be 6 months.
Right. Okay.
My approach is, if the install team are the ones doing the install, it would be best to position them to carry out a maintenance package.
Right.
They'll be best suited because they know
installed it.
Yeah, they know exactly what's gone in there, what the asset numbers are.
Yeah.
And if they can come up with a price package that is competitive, I think that is the best approach to go through.
So do you get involved in all that, or
I get involved in
really?
Yeah, I get involved in that as well.
Wow.
Even things like the radios for the site security, I get involved in. So what we would do is we'll do a cost evaluation, whether it would be better to hire or purchase those radios for the venue, and then weigh it up.
Right.
So, for example, and that goes for other areas as well. Yeah. So you're looking at the total life cost cycle of everything. So I'm trying to look at it from a strategic level as well. So I can give back to, the company, not just give back to the company, but also, it also represents and impacts our brand as well. So we have to have that responsible, sustainable approach. So we have to be responsible, we have to be sustainable, and we have to be ethical.
Absolutely.
That ties in with ECG. ESG.
Yeah. Is literally my next question.
Is it?
Well, it was like with regards to the industry, sort of. What sort of excites you? Oh, God, that's a silly question, really, for you, because you're right in the middle of something extremely exciting, like the biggest event space in London, and brand new.
Yeah.
So
what excites me is I think the industry is definitely heading towards a much more data-driven and technologically integrated future that's incredibly exciting.
Yes.
We're moving beyond purely reactive maintenance to predictive capabilities, where smart sensors and IoTs can tell us systems might fail before they actually do.
Absolutely. Footfall and this sort of stuff, how many people are going into kitchens, or so you know exactly where everybody is and how many people are coming into the building. It's pretty terrific, that, isn't it?
What truly excites me is seeing facilities management transition from being perceived just as an operational cost center to a strategic business partner. As FM professionals, we directly impact everything from company sustainable goals like ESGs, to employee well-being and the seamless delivery of high-profile events.
And sort of waste management and energy saving, and you're looking all into that side of things?
Yeah. We're looking at waste management plans, waste management proposals, and then obviously looking at waste management policy as well.
Exactly.
So we're looking at that because you can imagine having 5 kitchens and 2 restaurants. We're opening up Italian restaurant and also an Asian restaurant as well.
Goodness.
So we've got all that as well to manage as well. And also another area is we're going to have develop a seamless approach to our deliveries as well, because it's not just hard furniture deliveries that are going to come in. You've got to also imagine like the amount of food that is going to be delivered and needs to be calculated in with like the time, and we also from a responsible part, we also look at when we are going to be having those deliveries. So our lease allows us to have deliveries from a set time to a set time. So we can't have it too early in the morning because we back onto a side of a school as well, Argyle School, which is just off Bidborough Street.
Yeah, you have to take this into account.
Yeah, and then we've also got across the road from us residential complexes like flats as well.
So some noise and careful around all that.
So part of our marketing team as well, we also do a lot of like outreach work as well with the community as well. So we've got a team that will speak to local residents and local community, get them involved and let them understand what we're actually doing now as a big part of, the process.
That's the side of things. It's the social side, isn't it? Yeah, that's fantastic. I love how you're kind of embracing that moving forwards. We sort of spoke about artificial intelligence there. I mean, is that something that you guys are really keen on, or are you still trying to keep it traditional? It sounds to me like you're moving forwards with all.
We are moving forward. So we have, our plant room. We've got a very, invested systems of machinery. We've got HVAC systems. We've got building management system, which is very capable of understanding building. So it has like inbuilt sensors.
Yes.
So they can optimize air quality, airflow.
Gosh.
So that is AI in a sense. So it's kind of integrated into the seamless building fabric. So it's another area where we can look at that data and see where we can, what are we consuming, how much energy are we using, where can we, where can we reduce our waste, or what other things can we put in place? For example, you can have rooms where the lights will just come on when you have motion sensors.
That's
if there's nobody occupying the room, then there's no need to have the lights on.
And the energy in that, that's really good.
So
go and switch everything off manually, which is obviously time consuming in a huge building like that.
So I see artificial intelligence as a powerful friend and ally in the world of facilities management. It's not about replacing human expertise, but augmenting it and enabling us to work much more strategically.
We still need people to operate this.
Absolutely.
When it goes wrong, I mean, that's going to happen, isn't it? Things are still going. We still need people to manage that and correct it and put it straight.
My previous role as CCTV ops manager for the council, we were already utilizing analytical tools to monitor performance against insights. So AI takes us that concept to a whole new level. For instance, in a large venue like Vision Hall, AI can revolutionize predictive maintenance by analyzing data from sensors.
So it's we've pretty much gone over all of that, you know. But so obviously now you're in the middle of a project, but what moment or project are you proud of still today? It may have been something that you've done in the past, or it may be this now. I mean, this is pretty powerful what you're doing right now. So is there anything that comes to mind?
Okay, looking back, I'm particularly proud of the initiatives I've implemented now in my current role, Vision Hall. When I joined, it was clear we needed a more structured approach because when I was employed, I was the first facilities manager as well. So the first one employed for the company for this actual site. So it's, for me, challenging is understanding what my full scope is. So it's not just about understanding my job title, my job role. It's also understanding everything, all the different types of resources, all the different layers, all the different fabrics that go into maintaining the venue. So I go around and count out the explicit asset control lists. So which because it comes under my remit, I want to ensure that once all those areas are fully installed, we're going to hit the ground running.
Yes,
so
good.
Although I understand,
too many hiccups.
There
will be, won't there? We know this, but
I mean, it goes across a career. Like we are going to make mistakes. We are going to learn from the mistakes, and we are going to come back stronger.
I believe that. I definitely think that with you, definitely. It seems like when you're challenged, you move forwards with it even better and stronger than before.
Yeah, so I go around, I document risks. I look at areas where potentially, we could strongly evaluate where we could put health and safety provisions in place. So, for example, I'm currently looking at one of our rooftop terraces, which we want to also cater for access control for people, mobility impaired people.
Right, okay.
So I was looking at the how we can utilize like a specific ramp for the space. It's not a quick case of placing a solid ramp on the threshold of the door, because there's an adjacent door at 90-degree angle, which is close. And so you have to have something more or less the lines of a removable ramp. But also you need to have a policy in place, how it's going to be mitigated, how you're going to manage it. So I've come up with a strategic plan, which I've mapped out. It's a 24-page document.
Goodness.
And how we're going to cater for that. For example, they need to fit into PEEPs as well, and health and safety evacuation procedures.
Yes, of course.
How are we going to... And then I also calculated how many potential wheelchair users could be used in that space, because there's some hard spacing with greenery which is unusable. So you have to do a calculation where you remove or omit those spaces from the actual plan. So I think we calculated the right square footage for that. And then obviously we need to reference them back to building regs.
Yes.
So it needs to comply with the building regulations, what they state for wheel turning spacing. And so there's a lot of things. But I would say to the younger viewers, don't get deterred. If this is the route for you, if this is where you want to go, a lot of it also gives you a chance to learn on site as well. Of
course,
so,
because every site's going to be different as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? But you know that's. I mean, one thing I was going to say, we're going to go back a little bit again, is that what's something you wish you knew now before you started out, or you know, what advice can you give?
What I know now is what you mean. If somebody was to come and tell me tomorrow.
Yeah. What, you know, because obviously you weren't sure what avenue you were going to take, and you know you did you've done a lot around your education. You know, what would there be any sort of information that you would take on?
Yeah, I would say that that's a fantastic question, and one I often reflect on.
Yeah,
I'd say it's immensely important. The importance of stakeholder communication,
right,
and understanding diverse perspectives of that as well. Because when you're starting out, you tend to often focus on your actual job role, or the task or technical expertise. But I quickly learned that it's a multifaceted role. Like mine, you have to understand the different layers as well. So it's about effectively communicating across to different departments, getting buy-in as well before the initial design style comes about. There's another process which I never knew when I first started, because I always came from the mindset of degree in architecture, which is here's a plan, this is what we want you to design, go ahead. But there is another side of it, which is the stakeholder partnership, making sure you, from a policy side of things, understanding that there's a large remit for stakeholder engagement, and communicating that across. And if somebody has a specific design that they want to achieve with buy-in, they need to get people on board. So it's not everybody would understand the same technical jargon that facilities or an architectural person comes across. So it's about breaking it down into simplified language that everybody understands. So in order to get the buy-in. So there's a language approach. It's about communicating and adjoining that communication up, so we all achieve results together and everybody understands right from the foundation. So that's what I would say. I wish I had understood that, but it's not a big thing because you can learn it as you go along.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what if someone come to you tomorrow saying, I want to do what you do? What would you say?
I would tell them a few things. First and foremost, I would say be relentlessly curious.
Oh, I like that.
Embrace problem solving. Facilities management is especially in a dynamic environment, like a new venue, like what I'm having to do. It's a constant learning curve. You need to understand a bit about everything from mechanical systems to security protocols, and from a finance to human behavior as well, understanding how people interact with the building, looking at the end users, how are they going to feel going through these types of spaces and environments. You have to have it. Secondly, I would emphasize the importance of communication and resilience.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll be dealing with diverse stakeholders, often under pressure, and you need to be able to translate complex technical needs into a clear, actionable requests, and not be afraid to advocate for what the facility needs. So from a health and safety perspective, if you find things like that, I carried out a lot of risk assessments and method statements in my time. So I would go out and carry out active risk assessments. So as yourself, I'm talking to the younger audience now, if you as a young facilities person are walking through a venue and you notice there could be an element of change, I would say, go and source that. And finally, I would tell them to understand the strategic impact of FM.
Yeah.
You're not just fixing things, you're creating the environment that enables a business to thrive, to be safe and compliant, and ultimately to deliver its core services. It's an incredible, rewarding role for someone who loves managing complex challenges and truly wearing many hats.
Yes.
Every single day.
Absolutely, which is what you're definitely doing right now.
Or every single hour.
Even this is something new to you, isn't it? The podcast. So this is great. You've absolutely been fantastic. But what I'm going to switch off work now.
Yeah.
What do you do outside your day job? What do you like to do? It doesn't sound like you have an awful lot of time at the moment, but when you do, what's Tawanda doing?
At the moment, that's a vital question as well. Yeah, wear many hats, especially in a role like mine. When I'm not navigating the world of facilities, vision hall, town hall events, I actually switch off to completely different kind of arena. I'm an amateur boxing judge as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been an active amateur boxing judge for the last a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
We've just had an event, a Capital Cup, which we had a final 2 weeks ago. So it's fantastic just to switch off sometimes. Again, like facilities, it requires intense focus and quick decision making.
Of course.
Adherence to rules, but in completely different context.
So that's fun, yeah.
And I have 3 children as well, which I like to spend time with as well. I've got a 21-year-old.
Right.
I've also got 2 young boys as well at home, 7 and 5.
Anyone like they might go into the facilities management world yet, or a 21-year-old maybe?
Possibly the 5-year-old. Harrison, because he's always asking me, when I go home, I'm so passionate about this, what we're doing here at the town hall events.
Will you take them down?
Sometimes talk to them, and they always ask me, when is it ready? When is it ready?
Are you taking them down there?
He wants to come down there, so I have to organise. Well, I could bring the whole family.
That's it. They've got to see what you've been doing. Surely, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so what this is a question I like to ask. Is there anybody that's been an especially good mentor to you, or what's the best bit of advice you've been given? Or you can answer both those questions.
Yeah, I've just looked at where I'm working. I've had many mentors to mention, but going back to where I was first given my first official break, I resulted that to 3, 4, 5 interiors, where I was given the opportunity to showcase not only my capabilities. So I would like to say it was great that I worked there with the directors, Mark and Lee Clements. They really helped me first develop, and currently now I think we're in a good place. We have a very great diverse team of sales, marketing, and event operations team.
Wow.
So I'm part of the operations team, and my manager Jad is a very, very great manager, head of operations.
Okay.
And then coming back to advice, I would say the best piece of advice I've ever been given is the problem is rarely the problem, it's your attitude towards the problem. It reminds me that the role where you're constantly troubleshooting, coordinating and dealing with unexpected issues, whether it's ceilings going up or systems needing commissioning to be commissioned on time, your mindset is everything.
Yeah.
That approaching challenges with a solution-orientated attitude rather than getting overwhelmed is what truly allows you to wear all those different hats, effectively delivering results. One of a great source as well, quote that I read was great, is that nobody is going to give you something you haven't earned. Nobody cares how hard your upbringing was or if you suffered discrimination. You have to remember, whatever you've gone through, it pales into comparison to what the previous generation have gone through. And if they can overcome it, you can overcome it too.
Oh, Tawanda, that's so amazing. Oh, what a powerful ending. And you've given the younger audience some real good tips and advice there. And
So
anyone that's coming up in the world already and they're working towards, their next career move, you've just given them some hope there, I think. But thank you so much for coming down today. And I definitely want to come down and see Vision Hall when it's up and running. But so that's it for today. Until our next session of Wear Many Hats. Please like, follow and share. And see you again soon.